Welcome once again to another edition of C-Suite Cafe, where leaders in business and in policy, where change makers, where people who make the difference, where people who energize enterprise come to share their ideas and their views on what they do on a daily basis to inspire business, to engender ideas transforming into money and into values for people. Today, like always, we have with us a businesswoman. She is powerful, she is cerebral, and she knows her onions when it comes to investment. She may not be as loud as some other people who you see in the media spaces, but she is in a space where she's creating values on a daily basis. A quiet, intelligent woman. Her name is Ada Mamah. Family woman, mother, and wife. She is the Chief Executive Officer of Fast Forward Trading, a company that, as we continue our conversation, you will understand where it stands in the value equation of businesses in Nigeria and, if you like, the world. Welcome to C-Suite Cafe, madam.
Thank you.
It's our pleasure to be with you today. And incidentally, since this journey started, you are the first of many women that are going to come on this show, and we're excited to share your perspective, your ideas about business. While we wait for the next segment, let's drink coffee.
Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Ada, let me just say that even in defiance of whatever your husband might feel about it, you're a beautiful woman.
Thank you.
And ordinarily, we expect people like you to sit at home, enjoy the luxuries that your husband's family has built over the years, and just be a wife. How do they say it flexing your husband's money, but you are in the grind every day, adding value to what already exists. Why did you choose this lifestyle?
Actually, I started as a housewife when the kids were very little. And after a couple of years, I was a housewife for 10 whole years. And when the kids grew, I was bored. And I am also married to a very busy man. I also wanted to add value. I also wanted to affect lives and also improve myself.
Beyond merely wanting to add value, did it come naturally for you? Or did you, maybe in the course of soft interactions with your husband, understand and learn the rubrics of doing business and creating value?
Yeah, I am trained as a lawyer, but married into business, married into family that are so involved in business. I got interested because when my husband comes home and it was bad day, good day, he wants to share his experiences with me. And at some point, I also wanted to give it a shot.
You started out in business when you eventually made up your mind in the alcoholic beverages sector of the fast-moving consumer goods business in Nigeria. Can you share your ideas on not just what inspired you to take that step towards that end, and then how you were able to manage that business? Let me even tell our viewers, her husband is the first son of Ife Sinachi, one of the biggest road transport companies in Nigeria. So how did that work for you?
I like, I loved when the opportunity came to sell alcoholic beverages. My first opportunity on the table was to deal with Diageo, then that's Guinness Nigeria. I loved the idea. It was luxury. So I liked the fact of selling alcoholic beverages. I went to it. It had its own challenges. And funny enough, even with the hardship in the country, you'll be amazed how people embrace luxury in this country. It was a beautiful experience. It prepared me. I made my mistakes. I learned. I grew.
Can you share with us some of those mistakes that you learned that eventually prepared you to become what you are today?
Oh yeah, so alcoholic beverage business is a credit-driven business. So I believed people with their words. I gave out credits, and some of them actually went bad. Some of them affected the business. Some of them went well. I grew the business, making my mistakes. I learned from my own mistakes. At some point, it even looks like I don't even know what I am doing, but I always pull myself together and keep moving. And Guinness was also very supportive. We had trainings. We had there was a lot of exposure on how to manage the concerns I had on the table at the time about the business.
Sorry, I have to do this, but we are living in a culture, in an environment where certain businesses are perceived as gender centric. You are a lady, and alcoholic business, beverage trading is mostly, when you look at the SKUs of some of these breweries and distillery companies, I've not seen an SKU that was led or is led by a woman. What encouraged you to go into that space, being a lady? And we are alcohol guzzlers as men. I don't know whether you take it and still retain this beauty, but what encouraged you to embrace that trade, being a lady?
Okay, first off, I got support from my husband. He think I can do it. And I went into the market, and it is a large market. At the time I went into the market, I found out I'm not even the only lady, and I didn't feel any discrimination whatsoever. Whatever the men could do there, I can actually do it as well, and that was it.
What prepared you into understanding the dynamics of the market? In my practice as a media person, I know that the distribution and sales architecture for wines and whiskey is different from the architecture for beer and carbonated soft drinks. How did you understand this outside the training that was probably and obviously provided for you by Guinness?
Yeah, so I wasn't doing beer at the time because beer was more work and all of that. It was the international premium spirits. So it was a lot easier. I did it large scale. I was in the open market with the men, and some of them tried to even discourage me. Some of them tried to say this is not a job for a woman, but the only way to go about it was to make them my friends. I learned from them. I had one customer that said, while you guys were in uni, I was here in the market for 7 years. This is my own uni, and that just registered in my head, and I made sure I made him my friend, and I learned. And you cannot underrate the training they get from being attached to their boss That is the training for 7 years where you have to go and attach to your boss and learn the trade and later start your own. So that was how I learned. So I stayed very close to them and I was able to learn some.
Now, you are exposing us to other dynamics in this interview. You have drawn our attention by this response to the Igbo apprenticeship program. Yeah. You think a lot of us, a lot of Nigerians, whether you have achieved Western education or other milestones, should embrace that learning process in terms of distributive and retail business? Do you think it's very important in preparing graduates, no matter how fantastic your degree, in the traffic of managing commerce in Nigeria?
Yeah, depending on your area of business, but I think because it is really documented and people really know less about it, but I think apprenticeship in Nigeria is a lot. I think they learn a lot. You'll be amazed how much these traders know. Some of them don't even have proper records on paper. It looks like everything is stuck on their head. And they will tell you, I was trained for 7 years. So I stayed close to them. I made my big mistakes, like I always say, but I learned.
You moved from alcoholic beverages to other ventures. Can you tell us about these ones?
I am still in alcoholic beverage business, but as the time goes in the country, during COVID, there was this particular word that was flying everywhere. Essentials. Everybody was like, sometimes everybody was locked up from doing business, except if you're dealing with essentials. And at that point, I sat down, I took a back seat to ask myself questions. Maybe I should also invest in this. And at that point, I thought of food. As the economy got worse, people were concentrating on just feeding.
Yes.
And I said, it looks like there is a lot untapped in Nigerian agriculture. And I think it was a great opportunity to venture into it, especially where I come from, where we have a lot of, I come from the eastern part of Nigeria, where we have a lot of palm oil. A lot of businesses untapped. We have loads of lands. Wish we could get more supports. And I decided to go into it. I am still learning, and it is very eventful and interesting.
You know, people like you who always say they are learning will accumulate all the knowledge, and even when they have in business what could be equivalents of PhDs, they will come across presenting themselves as still learning. But in learning, I am sure in your classroom, and your classroom is your business now, what is your assessment of the exportation of agric and agro-based commodities?
I think there is still loads of opportunity out there in exports. I have made my research, especially about palm oil, which is my interest. Indonesia being the biggest producer of palm oil, Nigeria is about number 5. I believe Nigeria can actually do more in export and palm oil. Most of us, where we come from, it is the local palm trees. Now there is hybrids, there are so many brands. If you go to the Palm Institute in Benin, there are so many ones. I imported some from Indonesia, and those ones grow.
Just before you continue, are you planting? I mean, are you cultivating palm trees as well?
Yes, I started with the existing ones that we have. I also buy from our local traders who produce and come and sell. Then it got to a stage, I sat down and my biggest challenge is I can't meet up with my demand. And if I can't meet up with my demand, what is the solution to this? I mean, business is still young, so if the growth goes as planned or even more, that means I'm going to run into trouble. So that was a major concern, and I decided that it would be great to also plant. So I made some research, and it has really improved. I also visited PZ plantation. It is massive in Calabar, and it was very encouraging. A lot of agro businesses is going on in Nigeria.
Wow. I need to understand this. You say you can't meet demand abroad. Which categories of people are your customers? Who are the inspiration? Whose patronage inspire this enterprise? Who are they just domestic consumers, Nigerians in diaspora, or are there industrial opportunities? Because I know palm oil in itself has a lot of values that are extracted from it, yeah, and are used in several industrial purposes. So, who are your customers?
Like I said, I am still young in the business, so right now we are focusing on end users, which are people that buy and use for cooking. So even though I don't deal with the end users directly, I have also made research about companies that use palm oil, like for production of food, like biscuits and all of that, the cosmetics.
Yes.
So,
can you give us an estimation in terms of dollar or naira income, the opportunity in this sector, in this palm oil area? How much do you think the sector is worth, especially moving from Nigeria?
To be honest, I can't say for sure, but I know in 2024, Presco recorded about 109 billion profit after tax net, and Okomo also recorded about 130 billion, and that is impressive. When I looked at those figures, I knew that it is a place to invest in. And even before we talk about the export, there is still a lot of business for palm oil within Nigeria. I mean, you know, we all take advantage of the population of this country, and that helps almost every single business. A lot of money is generated in palm oil in this country.
My problem with even those of you who are playing in the export space is, one, some companies in Nigeria still import palm oil from Indonesia, from Singapore, from Malaysia, from some other countries abroad. Yet, there are also conversations around how much less, how we don't have enough for domestic use. And then they are being exported. Any insights on this?
That is to tell you how big the business is. I wish the government will actually do more support. Indonesia just increased their levy on palm oil from 7.5% to 10%, and that means the price of palm oil is going to go up. Because of this product not being enough even in this country, that was why I thought of planting. And that was why I had to contact a company in Malaysia after my research, and want to venture on hybrid. I'm going to start small, but I believe at some point I'm going to grow.
Wow. So, what do we do to be self-sufficient? Palm oil grows very well in Nigeria. We have high yields. Yes, there has been talk about encouraging agriculture, supporting that. National Institute of Palm Oil Research in Benin.
Yeah.
They are doing their best. There are hybrids. But people like you can go into that space to plant, and through maybe vertical integration, take all the, occupy all the value chains from farm, processing, refining, and then grading for export. What do you think, beyond the normal provide money, provide this, that the government should do to make sure that we grow this sector? Because I remember from the benefit of history that the likes of Zik and M.I. Opara grew the economy of the southeastern Nigeria from palm oil production only, even before oil was discovered in Oloibiri, in the present-day Niger Delta sector. So what can we do to leverage the values from palm oil to become a grain nation?
Yeah, I think in the past years, Nigeria have paid so much attention to crude oil, and I think palm oil is the new crude oil. So I think if government could support Nigerians, and if you go down to the village, there are so many unused lands, there are so many unemployed youths which are looking for opportunities. Meanwhile, opportunities are staring before us. And you'll be amazed how much ideas they have all got, but they just need a little support. A little support by, because the palm fruits we're talking about, the palm seedlings we're talking about in the institute, they don't even come cheap. And which is understandable because it is hybrid that is being imported. So even if it's $2, if you change it, it's a lot of money.
Yes.
Because you have to plant a lot, you know, you have to get a farm manager, you have to put a lot of things in place. So if the government can even invest themselves, or also partner with some of us that have huge interests, and at the same time we have youths hired, we produce, and it's going to affect the economy positively. Like where I come from, we have a very land mass, and I know I'm a woman. In where we come from, they try to discriminate women from inheritance, but I told my brother, I have just one brother, and I told my brother that I would love to do this in our father's land, which he obliged me. And because you know, you have to start from home. So you are planning to plant all over there. You can imagine if I have enough resources and I can have like 5,000, 10,000 acres of land to produce palm oil.
It's a lot.
That's a lot, and that would do a lot to the society as well.
Okay, now let's look at even the challenges of moving palm oil inclusive, commodities like yam, like even rice. There are issues of quarantine, standardization when you are engaging the export market.
Yeah.
Why do these exist? And what are you people doing? What did you do to overcome this and hit the market?
It happens in every single country. There are supposed to be standards, there are supposed to be rules, because they are leaving the country and they represent what comes from our place. Before you export in Nigeria, you are meant to register and have an export license. And when you do that, that means you're ready to do business, and they have to go through the product and be sure that they are good for consumption. Just like in Nigeria, even here, the ones we sell locally here, we went through NAFDAC. NAFDAC had to visit my factory over and over again. We actually took the palm oil to go and test, And he came back. I mean, you can't just come on the pack and be writing no cholesterol, vitamin A, and all of that without the product providing all of that. So that is why you have to go through that process and be sure that what you claim the product offer is actually what the product offers. It is a lot of process, but I think it's worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah, palm oil, because it has gone through processing. What about commodities like yam? What about commodities like tomato, which are exported as they are picked from the farm? You can't, how do you standardize yam, for instance? How do you certify yam as containing what the earth infused into it? You understand, I'm learning, and I know our viewers want to learn as well.
I really don't know much about yam, but I don't really know much about yam because I didn't invest in that. But I think if they also take it to the lab, they will be able to tell what yam offers.
Okay, let's look at finance and the business you're doing. What limitations does finance, is finance a major limitation
Yes, it is.
to this business?
Yes, it is, because we come from a country where nobody wants to support small businesses. Not even the banks as a small business. Because you said, what can the government do for us to improve on this business? Yes, you can just imagine a young graduate or a young youth who wants to invest in agriculture. You can't just walk into a bank and say you need finance, and they're just a brand new business, no experience, no collateral. So it is so difficult for you to get finances from anywhere. And the only people that can come in between this is the government investing in people that really needs it. So finance is a big tool that takes people back, and if there is finance from government, is going to go a long way. For me, I started from business, family supporting me financially, and that's how I started, and that's how I grew. And because it wasn't my first business, so I had capital from the previous business I've done over the years.
Okay, yeah, there are some people, maybe motivational speakers, I'll classify them, who advertise that if you work hard enough to have off-takers who agree that once this thing arrives, it's going to be paid for, that banks have facilities to finance that. Is that true from your experience?
Okay, sometimes it is not the way it is written on paper to when it's reality, when you actually want it done, because the bank are also trying to avoid risk, because of, I'm sure they must have had some previous experiences where people claim they want to do some certain businesses and maybe doesn't show up again and all of that. So a lot of things are involved in that. I don't think you can just walk into a bank and say, oh, I have a beautiful dream in agriculture, and they just send their funds to you.
Let's look at I mean, you're a woman. And all these years, over the years, there are conversations around empowerment of women and stuff like that. Did you personally, from your own, have any benefit from those conversations, UN mandates, I mean United Nations, about empowering women and things? Did any of those things inspire you?
Yeah, it actually did. Even though I have never benefited from any of that, but it actually did influenced me, I believe women can actually go as high as their dream. And I don't know how much women have benefited in real life, not on paper. But I think if there are more opportunities to support women, that will be interesting.
Okay, we spoke about it earlier, but I want to go back to it. To what extent did the family you come from, I'm talking about your family, your husband's family, where you're married to what extent did they influence your decision to be in this business and the direction, the form in which it took?
Yeah, the family I come from family. My father was a lawyer. I am also a trained lawyer. He only sees me in a boardroom, not doing business. But when I got married and almost all the conversations on the table is about business, I had interests. And I tried it out. It was worth it. And I was even much, much younger when I started. And I think it was worth it. Loads of experiences. I have learned a lot. How to manage human beings. I think it's worth it.
Now, let's go to numbers now. What do you think is the minimum capital threshold that anybody going into that business should put aside or seek to aggregate?
Oh, I don't think there should be minimum. I personally not a social media person, but I have been watching loads of videos about palm oil business because I have interest, and I've watched young people say, oh, you can start this business with 1 million. You can even start, you don't even need to have an office. You can purchase it and resell it and post it on your TikTok videos and other social media apps, and you will make sales. And believe in what I see, I also see them talking about profits they've recorded. So I always encourage people to start small. It's good to dream big, but you can start small. Coming from a country where we don't even get as much support like we intend to get. So I actually cannot say you need this certain amount to start. Or whatever. It has to do with the scale you want to do the business. Me, I am looking at a very large scale to do the business, but I still started small and growing into it. I also have a dream of thinking of refining the oil, and the quotation I got from the company in Malaysia is over $100 million, which is a lot of money. And yeah, so it involves a lot of money. So that's why I believe we can always start small.
Now, when you say refining the oil, I know that when you talk about refining, maybe we always have our mind on crude oil. You refine it, you get diesel, you get PMS, you get AGO, you get DPK, you get all the byproducts. When you refine palm oil, what are possible?
Oh, okay. So when you refine palm oil, you get the vegetable oil we use to cook. You also get the PK that we use for agricultural feeds. There's another. We get the one for the cream, the biscuit, and all of that. And back in the years, there is a family business. My father-in-law had a factory with ambassador for South Korea at the time to produce a vegetable oil. The business has been abandoned for a couple of years, which I want to bring to life now.
Wow. There's no
with the support of my husband, yes.
Of course, if you don't give him credit, I'm sure I won't be able to take it. Now, yes, you are increasingly becoming successful in your space. What does success mean to you?
Success means To me, success means affecting lives, adding value, and contentment.
At what threshold do you think you would have achieved that?
I am this person that always want more. I always want more. So I think even when I get there, I will still want more. But from the little I've started, I am excited that I affect lives. Little as back in the village, people that go to harvest the palm fruit, process it as palm oil, sell to me, and I export it to Lagos. Look at the chain. Someone goes to the farm, someone processes, sells, make little money, feed the family, then transport company transport it. The chain is long and a lot of people benefit from that. So with that little impact, I am excited and I really want to do more.
When your trees start growing and maturing and harvesting, what mostly would you want to be known for? How would you want the history to record you in this space?
Since I started business, I have been pushing other people's brands. I want to get to a space where I have my own brand. And I believe if I use the same passion I use to push other brands so far, I will definitely do well for myself. I will feel fulfilled tomorrow if there is a bottle of oil on this table and they have my name on it. Yes, I have I have oil that I've packaged that I am selling to Nigerian market because I have to start from home. I also have partnership with, do you know the business called Boko?
Boko, the supermarket chain?
Yes, so I also did a private label brand for them on palm oil, and it is already in store and is doing amazingly well. Our biggest challenge is meeting up with the demand. I like that kind of pressure. That's the pressure we're going through at the moment.
Pressure of making more money, pressure of meeting demands in a space where it was not expected that a woman will play a leading role. She is a key driver in this market, and she's doing well, like you have heard. All the while, for the past 45 minutes or so, we have been with Ada Mamah, the CEO of Fast Forward Trading, a major player in not just alcoholic beverage distribution, but now exportation of palm oil. You have heard from her. You will make your own decisions. I know that you have been inspired. And like always, it is the leaders, the change makers, the thought leaders that we bring to you here. Thank you very much. And it is on this note that I say thank you for coming on C-Suite Cafe. And when you grow, we will want to be a part of your story. Thank you very much and see you in the next edition. We believe that you have become a faculty in this, and as time goes on, we are likely to call you, maybe either to come back to the studio or to come to an event where all of you who have been here, we gather, exchange ideas, and then you never know how far that could go. But this is an induction into the C-Suite Cafe faculty. And it is my pleasure to welcome you formally to this channel. That's Ada Mamah, and she's now one of us. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ada Mamah. I run the business Fast Forward Trading. I enjoyed my morning with C-Suite Cafe. It was very interesting. I think more people should search them up and watch C-Suite Cafe. I think it's an interesting and educative one. Thank you.
Thank you very much.